Dalton, next up is the Oklahoma State Cowboys. And Mike Gundy now heading into his 21st season as the head coach. It was a complete disaster for Oklahoma State last year. They actually entered the year as the number 17 team in the preseason AP poll. They had their worst season in 33 years and Gundy's worst ever year at Oklahoma State with a 3-9 record. They did not win a single Big 12 game last year for the first time ever that's happened in Mike Gundy's 2 decades as a head coach. They had the reigning Doak Walker Award winner and Ollie Gordon, who we thought was the number 2 player in the country going into the year. His production fell off a cliff last year. He had 1,056 rushing yards after contact in 2023. In 2024, he had 880 rushing yards total last year. The defense, though, was the far bigger issue. They were the 3rd lowest graded unit in the Power 4. That could be an issue in 2025, and the Cowboys will break in a brand new quarterback on offense, too. The one bright spot on offense, though, and you can get into a little bit more, even with Ollie Gordon now with the Miami Dolphins, Oklahoma State still has a couple pretty interesting options at running back.
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, and look, you're talking about replacing somebody who did a lot for you in Ollie Gordon, but when you look at a couple of guys, Freddie Brock in from Georgia State, and then Trent Howland at 6'2" and 245 gives you that big physical presence. Look, this team with whoever their young quarterback is going to be, because they got 2 different options in a wide-open competition. We've seen it in the past. They're at their best when they can run the football. Ollie Gordon made things happen despite a not great run-blocking unit, so they do have to get better up front, because we can't guarantee that either of these guys are going to win the Doak Walker this year, but you're talking about at least a couple running backs that give you hope last year as you're replacing Gordon and you're trying to move forward with young quarterbacks and get this run game going.
The biggest question mark is a complete unknown at quarterback right now. And the Cowboys are really hoping they can rely on those running backs to carry the offense next year, because right now they have 2 completely inexperienced options at quarterback in redshirt sophomore Zane Flores and redshirt freshman Hoss Haney are competing for that job right now. Neither of them have attempted a pass in their college careers yet. I will say Hoss Haney was a 4-star recruit, a top 20 quarterback coming out of high school, transferred in from TCU. Dalton, right now, the favorite seems to be Zane Flores, though, as the guy who's been in that system a little bit longer than Hoss Haney. So talk to me more about him, and maybe a little bit about Hoss Haney, too, because I know you watched him a little bit.
So, yeah, I watched both of these guys, and Flores really only have high school tape because he has not taken an in-game rep, and he actually didn't get to practice the second half of last year because I believe he suffered a foot injury that ended his season. So you're talking about a traditional pocket passer with a big arm, kind of like, almost like Alan Bowman was last year, how he wants to throw it deep down the field, especially down the sidelines, and if you can protect him, he can make throws from the pocket, and he's a decent athlete. It's just inexperience is going to be a problem for both of these guys. If it is Haney, he did get some wildcat work at TCU last year, kind of like the Alex Orji role at Michigan. That's kind of what he played at TCU for him, and he's the better athlete and the better runner. So honestly, I think at some point this year, maybe even in the same game, you're going to see both of these guys, because if they're going to want to run the ball and run it heavy, I think Haney's going to help them with some wildcat and read option stuff, and then if they can find a way to protect Flores in the pocket and get some people open, he can make the throws from the pocket. But I think you actually do see both of them because there's such a lack of experience, and I think this competition may not just be in training camp. It may go into the season, and I think we're going to see a lot of both of these guys, honestly.
I expect it going into the season, honestly. And with neither of these guys attempting a pass in their college careers yet, who knows what's going to happen at quarterback for Oklahoma State this year. But they should have a really good run game. And if Hoss Haney plays at quarterback this year, could have a really dynamic read option game with him and Freddie Brock, who transferred in from Georgia State. Started his career actually at Maine. Then he started as Georgia State's backup running back in 2023. Dawn, in that year, he really broke out in the famous Idaho Potato Bowl against Utah State. He had 276 rushing yards in that victory over Utah State in the Potato Bowl. So he really broke out that year and showed, hey, I am the guy to be the number 1 running back next year in 2024. And he was the full-time starter this past year and had another really good season with, he's 11th among all Group of 5 running backs with 3.98 rushing yards after contact per attempt. 84.6 rushing grade, was 15th among all Group of 5 running backs, 80-plus rushing grades in each of the past 2 seasons. Very shifty runner at 5'10", 190 pounds, and he has not fumbled once on 432 touches over the last 4 seasons now in his college career. So really impressive player Freddie Brock is. I'm really excited to see him kind of be the new running back for Oklahoma State now with Ollie Gordon gone.
Yeah, absolutely. Him and Howland are going to have to be a dynamic duo in the backfield. And again, I think we're going to see Haney in the run game. Even if Flores is named the starting quarterback, there's a role for Haney because you have to remember, too, their new offensive coordinator is Doug Meacham coming over from TCU also. He's going to find a role for Haney. The running game is going to be a big emphasis here with Oklahoma State with such inexperience at quarterback, and Brock's a big part of that.
Absolutely. Another transfer here, Dalton, for the defensive player spotlight, who had a really good true freshman year last year.
Yeah, look, if you want to build a defense out of what'd you say, the third lowest graded in the Power 4 last year, you get some young players, right? Let's develop some young players. You got one from UTEP, in last year he was a true freshman, Kyron Duhan, an edge defender at UTEP last year, 75.7 PFF grade. The only true freshman edge defenders that had a higher PFF grade than that, Colin Simmons and Dylan Stewart. And those are the two best edge players in the country. So in pretty good company there. Obviously, Conference USA isn't the Big 12, but Duhan was really good. He's strong. He's 6'1". He's 255 pounds. He's got a really good first step. I think he showed you a lot in the run and the pass game that if he can bring that up to the next level, and if you're Oklahoma State, you're hoping you're having for at least 2 years. But these are the types of young players like Duhan that they need to build around, right? Because this defense, I don't know that it's going to turn around in one season, honestly. I think it's a defense where you're trying to find young players who are going to be you're trying to retain, you're trying to get the retention going, and then develop it as time goes on because they're rebuilding that whole unit. But up front, a guy like Duhan could really help you off the edge.
All right, Dawn, let's do bottom line time now for the Oklahoma State Cowboys. After a 3-9 year, their win total is now set at 5.5. So basically, will they bounce back and make a bowl game, or will they also have another rough year?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be so quick about it, but I'm taking the under here.
Same.
I mean, you're talking about you have no experience. You're coming off a 3-win season. You have no experience at quarterback. You have no experience at not no experience, but you're losing Ollie Gordon at running back. You lost your top two receivers in Dejon Stribling and Brennan Presley.
Good players too. Yeah.
Great players. Stribling, I think, is going to have a really good year at Ole Miss. You're got a defense that is you're completely rebuilding that we have no idea. I mean, honestly, their defense, I have no idea what to expect. Yeah. It's a bunch of new faces. They struggled last year. I'm going to take the under here, under 5.5. I'm actually a little surprised the number is even this high considering their defense and their quarterback situation. But unless Flores goes in there and as a redshirt freshman is some sort of spectacular, I would have a hard time seeing Oklahoma State making a bowl game. I do.
And I kind of get why, because this was such a catastrophe for Oklahoma State last year, and this is not what they've been in years past.
We're so used to them, like some of these other programs, being just always at least solid, right? Yeah. If they're not at the top of the Big 12. Because I remember 2 years ago they were in the Big 12 title game. I mean, they lost to Texas in the Big 12 title game 2 years ago. So it's not like it's that long ago that they were really good. But you look at this roster, and there's just so many question marks.
They have not had a losing season since 2005, before last year. They've won at least 7 games in every season since 06 until 2024. So they've won like 11, 12, 10 games consistently in that span too. So I get what the sportsbooks are saying. Okay, they're going to bounce back after a horrible year last year, and it'll just be an outlier for them. But if you really look at the roster, I don't have a lot of confidence in this roster right now. I think this might be the worst team in the Big 12 once again. So I'm going to go under, and I'm pretty confident in the under right now too, which is unfortunate for Oklahoma State. And this might be, unfortunately, the last year we see Mike Gundy at that program after being such a storied head coach in their history, and he's been an amazing coach in their history too. But I just look at that roster right now, and that win total of 5.5. I don't really see Oklahoma State making a bowl game next year. Maybe they'll surprise us, make a bowl game, but I just don't see it happening in 2025. Hey, thanks for watching another episode of the PFF College Football Show. Please make sure you guys subscribe to the channel.
Also, subscribe to PFF Plus at subscribe.pff.com for all of the same data and grades that we use in our show, plus fantasy tools, betting tools, and our mock draft simulator.